Hello, everyone, parents, families, boys, and girls. We are back with another edition, another episode of Grind XP, the new Discord trend that is sweeping the nation. And by nation, I mean just a few kids. But no, we got to start somewhere. And actually, first of all, thank you so much for everyone who's participated in this Grind XP chat. If you did not know, within Ukatsu's moderated Discord channel, we have started a new movement, a new trend, in order for you to finally start doing that thing you've always thought about doing, but you haven't actually put that time and effort to do it because you might be scared, but it's okay. Because there is a supportive community here at Ukatsu, online as well, because we've brought that family online to help you accomplish your goals, to make sure you do what you want in life, not what your teacher wants for you, not what your sibling wants for you, not what your parents or boss. When I ask you, what do you want to do? It is not a way to challenge you in your character. It is a way to challenge you to go out and accomplish the things you want to do. And so week one, we had our goal setting, a new habit for 2020. And I'm so happy that a lot of you guys submitted your own goals. Get it better at Fortnite on controller, start streaming, start creating content, write a book, all sorts of things. If I didn't mention you, it's okay. I've seen it. I've read it. Thank you so much for participating. And yes, as promised, the first week's prize, drum roll please, it only applies to the kids, or non-Ukatsu employees, I should say. But applies to everyone except for Ukatsu employees. The winner of week one's challenge, chosen at complete random, is Parker Domo. You have won. Congratulations. Here is your thing. Maybe I'll make it full screen. And then I'll make it not full screen again. He had some pretty neat goals, and so did everyone else, but you were picked at random to win the prize, which is, first up, a $20 certificate to Ukatsu so that you can hang out here, enjoy the family some more, a $15 Visa gift card that I'll be picking up later today. You can pick it up. I know he comes to our Dungeons & Dragons. You can pick it up at that, and a $5 snack pack to enjoy here as well. Remember, guys, this is just week one's prizes. I'm going to try to think of more things. And I'll be honest, at first I thought I was going to give away a mouse, but I know Parker just recently picked up a glorious Model O on his own, so a mouse didn't seem quite right. But congratulations for your first week's challenges. Everyone else that tuned in and submitted theirs, don't disregard your submissions either. I'm keeping a tally throughout the entire year to see how many of you guys are putting in that work and effort right now. So I've got Braden on there. I've got, let's see, I've got Kevin on there. There's a whole bunch of people. If you did not submit your scores, sorry about that, but we can move on with week two, which is what this video is really about. So let's get started. Week two, let's jump in. Okay, so week two is all about quotes. And ladies and gentlemen, I actually keep a journal around. This is my 2020 journal. I just started a new document on my iPad. You don't have to use an iPad, by the way. You can write this down. You can type it up on your computer. I have a text file on my old MacBook that also has journal entries. Maybe one day I'll show that to you. And within my journal, I actually write down a quote of the day. Quotes can be so inspiring because there are some people that you truly look up to in this world. There's people who have lived twice as long, 3 times as long, 4 times as long, or at least they've gone through experiences that you have not. They've gained wisdom, and they're happy to share it. Some of these people, including the mentors at Ukatsu, are always happy to share their wisdom, and it's up to you to decide whether that wisdom is useful to you, right? Don't take everything that you hear for granted, question everything, but also be open-minded about accepting the advice that mentors have to give to you, the advice that relatives or people that truly care about you have to share. They're trying to help you out. They're trying to make sure that you can learn something quicker in less time or in less pain. So today I'm going to share with you 5 quotes that I have written so far in my journal for 2020 that speak to me. And when you go home, or maybe you're already at home, when you do this challenge, I want you to find quotes. 3, just 3. We're going to share 5, but I want you to come up with 3 that really strike a chord with your own heart. and explain why they do. I'm going to do that verbally. You can submit a video just like this if you'd like. You can write it down. I highly encourage writing it down. You must write it down, actually. Write down the quote, and if you do know who it's by, you have to write who it's by. So no typing on this one. Just write it down, take a screenshot. So, quote number 1. One of my favorite quotes that I started really embracing ever since I started being an entrepreneur, which is, try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value. And that is said by none other than Benjamin Franklin himself, a very productive man, a very giving man. And this quote really does speak to me because I remember when I was a kid, growing up watching Mega Millions and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, all these very successful people, movie stars especially, where they were successful, and what that really meant when I was younger was they were very wealthy. They had done something, and it had gained them a lot of attention or wealth over time. And what I've come to realize, especially as I've grown older, 25, 26 now, almost 27, so I'm the grandpa at Ukatsu, other than Austin, I think, is that you don't really want to focus on just being wealthy. You don't want to focus on having material goods. You don't want to focus on being the star of the show all the time. What you really want to focus on, and what will give you more what will give you more fulfillment in life, is to know that you are actively helping other people, or that you are someone that provides value to the lives of others. So let's frame this for Ukatsu's purposes, right? I try not to think, okay, I'm going to create a company that creates millions and millions of dollars in profit. I would have probably started a drop shipping business or a Shopify online if I really wanted to just accomplish that. Instead, I'm trying to be a valuable resource to parents, kids, families, schools, and my peers, my employees, my adult friends that I interact with. Try to be someone that can offer, can teach, can mentor, and just share my wisdom with other people around me. And through that, I think over time, I won't just be eating ramen all the time, right? That's the idea. I want to be able to live off of my value. So think about what your value is and what you can add. Maybe you're super funny. Maybe you're super smart. Maybe you're super caring, right? Focus on that, and that's why I love that quote. Next up, quote number 2. I put this on my iPad so I didn't forget or butcher the quote. From Will Rogers, "Don't let yesterday take up too much of today." Don't let yesterday take up too much of today is my quote. This one, it's different from the last one, right? That one was more productivity. This one's kind of more emotional. In 2019, I gotta be honest, guys, a lot has happened. And even before that, when I graduated high school, when I went through a lot of self-doubt in my freshman and sophomore year of college, the actions and the things that have happened to me in the past were big contributions to me just being petrified to the point where I couldn't do anything. I was so just depressed. I was so down on myself about what's happened in the past that I couldn't move on. I couldn't press forward. And there were moments where I would just lay there, play video games all day, eat, sleep, and that was mostly it. And I certainly did not feel fulfilled at that point in my life. Yeah, I got better at video games, but still, it is no substitute for a fulfilling life. So the quote, "Don't let yesterday take up too much of today. Remember that today is a new day. You have the opportunity to change your future. You can't really change your past. You can recognize it, accept it, learn from it. But as it says, don't let it take up too much." So Will Rogers, thank you for that quote. Moving on to quote number 3, and this one's a little bit of it's a very cutthroat quote, but it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. This is one that I started really reciting to myself daily when I started Ukatsu. There's also a variant of it from a video game character that I love. It's pretty much the same quote, but worded a little differently. So the quote is, "If you do nothing, you get nothing." That is from I don't know how to pronounce her name. Essentially, she was a very controversial but effective revolutionist for a Southeast Asian country where she spread democracy. And but essentially, it's so simple, right? Sometimes I'm sure this was not said in English. Maybe it was said in English, but the translation is very apparent. Is if you do nothing, you get nothing. And in a video game quote, almost the same exact quote. This is from Camille in League of Legends, by the way, and it was actually on my Twitch feed. The quote is, "Do nothing if you wish to be nothing." So yeah, the quote in itself is pretty cutthroat, but what it boils down to and why it speaks to me is because all my life I've grown up watching my parents, especially my father, work day in and day out. He didn't come here. He was, first of all, born in another country, came here when he was 17, 18 years old. There was no 401k, there was no trust fund, there was no college education opportunity for him. But I'm constantly amazed as I sit back and watch my father growing up my entire life as he went from just a fry cook to a restaurant owner to now he has properties, and he's more caught up on the stock market and how a business corporate structure works than I am as a business owner myself. And so he's learned so much, learning another language, learning to just constantly take action. There was almost never a time when I didn't think he was willing to take. He never really complained. He just went for it. And to this day, I am so grateful to have learned that lesson through him, subliminally, subconsciously. And now to see it in a quote really is, if you do nothing, you get nothing. That's the bottom line. Everyone that aspires to be somebody, right? To be somebody, you must do something to be that person. And it's just it's so cold. It's so simple, but I love it. It's just something that I love. All right, so quote number 4. This one's a little more empathetic. It comes from Eleanor Roosevelt, which is, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." So this is a big one for me personally, as someone growing up who did not have a lot of confidence in who I was, in what I looked like, in what relationships I could attain through both friends, through both romantically, through anything, the job offers, college scholarships, all of that. Yes, in life, people will reject you, and don't try not to take it personally, right? They're either looking out for themselves, maybe if they're outright making fun of you, maybe they're just really beating up on themselves or trying to make themselves feel better. Most cases, it is not a personal attack on your own character, on your own reputation. And in many cases, it could just be action or a response to when things don't go their way, when things just fall apart, plans don't go according to plan. So when somebody puts you down, when somebody rejects you, when somebody makes fun of you, ultimately it is your conscience, your action, your decision, your brain thought that says, I am not good enough. People may question your character, but as long as you find out who you are, you create who you are, and you're determined that you are not inferior. And if you need this in this moment, if you're watching this video, you are not inferior to anyone. And that's what I truly believe. Nobody is better than anyone else, at least naturally, right? You train yourself up to this point. You yourself are completely capable of being just as talented, just as reserved, just as disciplined, anything, as the person next to you. I truly believe that, which is why some people might think that I have unusually high standards. And it's not that. I'm just saying it's a level playing field. Unless you're born in a very unfortunate circumstance, and I'm talking the most unfortunate. But for most of us, especially people who are able to watch this video right now, you are not inferior, and you are perfectly fine the way you are, absolutely. But at the same time, if you're uncomfortable or saddened by where you are right now, you have every power, every bit of energy within you to change that, just like the person next to you. So the last quote that I have, and I've written so many quotes, I just had to pick 5 from the journal that I've written in 2020, is life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And yeah, this is very true. You are in control 90% of the time. There are things that are just gonna take a giant fat poop on your day, on your life. And very recently, this has happened to me. But I can't get upset at anyone else. And it's also kind of a waste to get really upset daily. And this is something I have to remind myself. It's not easy. Every single day I think, well, I could have done this differently. Well, this situation could have unfolded differently. Well, that's really terrible of this entity or this person to have done that to me. But really, the 90%, what you choose to do, how you choose to feel, and what people you choose to surround yourself with are all things that you can control. So never forget that. And that's it. Those are my 5 quotes. I want you to come up with 3. I want you to, 1, find 3 quotes that speak to you. 2, write them down. Make sure you write down who wrote that quote so you can remember. And 3, just a short blip, maybe 1 sentence, maybe 2 sentences, maybe just bullet point list of why that quote speaks to you. I've revealed in a lot of vague ways that these quotes speak to me on a personal level. And so I hope when you go out there and find your 3 quotes, they speak to you as well. You have until next week, which I think is January 20th, to submit this timeline. And hey, if you watch this video a year later, 3 months later, don't hesitate to do this yourself. Grind XP is all about investing in you to accomplish what you want in life, to fulfill your own dreams, and to create that destiny that you have set forth for yourself. So it's never too late to come up with these quotes. It's never too early to start thinking about these. I know we have 10-year-olds watching this, but they're starting to think and grow up faster than any other generation previously. So no, it's not too early. And adults, yes, you are also in the running for these prizes, by the way. So #VerifiedAdults channel. I'm going to make sure you guys see this next video too. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This has been Joe from Ukatsu. Again, we do care about you. We're hustling. If you have anything that you need, feel free to reach out and support me. Or, excuse me, feel free to reach out so I can support you. Hopefully you support me. But that's it. This has been our week 2 Grind XP video. We'll catch you next time.